And then I'm going to go live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to our Twitch for the Nerd On Update, our weekly show in which we talk about the nerdy news that's exciting to us, sad to us sometimes, interesting to us, just the nerdy news.
News.
Just news. Sometimes it's just news.
Sometimes it's news to us,
Yes.
even though it's been it's very
Sometimes
old
it's
news.
2 years old and we didn't look at the date. But hey, you know what? We're here.
We're here. We're hanging out. Hello, everyone in the chat. We got Johnny Horror, aka 51 Jonathan, T Dog, MX Raff, Mamba.
I need to know the
Ethan
reason
Boo.
for the username change. I'm not happy about this.
I think
Just kidding.
they got a new phone, and then it like wouldn't allow them to connect back in. And that's the tough thing with the authentications. That I feel like,
Yeah.
yo, what if you lose your phone? What if you get a brand new phone and then like
Like a new
Like-
number and whatnot?
Well, that happened to me where I have a company application where like I need to have verifications done, and the only thing that could have verified it was my old phone.
Like
But
Authy?
like I transferred it all onto the new phone, and then I wiped my old phone immediately, and then I was like, oh, I have no way to like authenticate. Hello, Lizzie Cannon. We have
What
Bad
up?
Reprint. Hello, Gotti over
Do you use
here.
Okta at work or?
Yes, I do.
Okta.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. I'm
I
familiar and I hate it.
hate it. And I got work computers recently, and then so it uses your Okta password, and I'm like, but what
Mhm.
happens if it changes? Like, oh, you could do it through this app. I'm like,
Every time my password changed, I'm pretty much convinced that I will no longer ever work at the CW because pretty much like the last person that I knew that worked there doesn't work there anymore. So how is anybody gonna know like when they should call me? So here we are. But we
Oh.
use Okta, and the password changes would be like every 90 days, and like yeah.
yeah,
couldn't get
ours
into
was like
anything.
every 90 days or like 6 months. Got light up that sign, Tom. I can't right now. I refuse to
He doesn't
worry
wanna get
about that
weird.
right now.
He doesn't want to get rid.
Because it just takes some time, and I had to do laundry. I've had a long day. I've had a long day. I've had a long week. This month has gotten longer for no reason.
Yes.
We got some bits from Bad Reprint. Congrats on the new
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Good one. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
We haven't talked about this, but I think I'm going to shoot for that new thing to come out like in a couple of weeks. So it's like in the middle of, because we have another episode that's already scheduled.
I mean, that could be part of the news. You can make that like just give a little spiel, talk about it. Coming
could
soon.
I?
Yeah,
I totally could. I changed
Yeah.
the tone of my lighting because I thought it matched my skin a little bit better, but it really shows my sunburn.
It's when you do color correction, if you increase the red, it's like now all of it comes out.
Yeah, now it's the light that I have you can change. I don't know what is that called? What is that called? The temperature.
Hue? Oh, temperature. Yep, temperature.
Yep.
I always go a little cooler than normal because I usually
Yeah.
light a little warm.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I
Light
just
stuff.
Nerd on Redemption arc. I mean, if we can, before we get started, I'd like to hear from the people who have listened to the episode. What'd y'all think? Do you like these kind of episodes? Do you prefer the more like, hey, talk about Bug's Life? I want to know who wrote it and who are the producers and how much it made and what's its Rotten Tomato score? Or do you like the, hey, let's talk about something in particular. Let's talk about, content creators having an influence over like film journalism and criticism, or let's talk about how Across the Spider-Verse and other media like it talk about our mental health and
Oh my gosh,
how
a Bug's Life episode. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I was
um,
today years old when I learned that you can actually see who's in chat. I didn't know that those little people up at the top corner of the chat, you can see who's actually who's hanging out. I did not know that.
Oh yeah,
We've been doing this
on
for
the
almost
mobile?
6 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Still when Bug's Life episode, Speed Racer and Alita are peak. We had an Alita episode.
We do.
Speed Racer, I'll tell you right now, you're not gonna get like a great raving review about Speed Racer from me.
There are some things that we've been like, oh, what if we did that? And then somebody's like, You might want me to sit out that episode.
I mean, I'll talk about it and I'll explain why, but I'll be 100% being like, let's say if someone gives me like, hey, here's some soggy toast, I'd be like, hey man, I see the crust, I see the edges,
I like the
understand what you're
carbs.
going for,
They're
but
just
this is a
soupy.
soggy piece of shit and I don't like it. You can have it back. It's yours. More for you, less for me. I'd walk away.
To each their own, man.
Yeah.
I didn't like bread
Hickman
pudding
joke.
for a really long time because to me it was just like it's just
Soggy
soggy
bullshit.
bread. Yeah, it's like the flavors are there, but I had some bread pudding recently. That was probably last summer. I don't know. It was really good, and because I think because it had been left out for a little while. Let's be real, it had been left out, so it wasn't as soggy. It was real good.
Best Hollywood anime adaptations. I don't know. There's a lot. All like Netflix is cornering the market on them, and like 80% of them are garbage. I still haven't heard of it. I Blame Life. I actually prefer you guys talk about anything really, which is good. But if there's something in specific that you want, that'll give us a direction. You know, that means you like us, which is great, and we like that. And when the validation feels good, but it's like, why do you like us?
Yeah, we've been leaning towards the episodes that are more conversations like this last one, or like the RS episodes. Yeah, because I think it's a way for us to assure that we can be consistent. So we can do this because we want to do this. Like we're talking about it in text messages and stuff. We're like, we want to do this, but when we pick very specific things like shows, movies, it's like we all busy.
Mm-hmm.
We all busy.
I mean, I have to just say, just because people keep talking about it in the chat, and Gotti's talking about it, Rurouni Kenshin live action, it actually isn't bad. Yeah, that's like a series of movies comparatively to Death Note, to fucking Full Metal Alchemist, to Dragon Ball Evolution, to there's a lot, you know, there's a lot that are out there. It's kind of like saying all comic book movies are good. It's like there's a lot of not great ones.
We did a
Not
Spawn
saying they're
comic
bad.
episode.
Spawn, we have done Spawn. We did Spawn Volume 1, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Live action One Piece doesn't look half bad. I like you because you don't say anything objectively bad, but you aren't afraid to give out thought out reasons why you dislike things when you do. Also bring a filmmaking aspect to your appreciation, which is actually my jam. Nice. Everyone is busy. I specifically said Hollywood, but yeah, those movies are fantastic. Hollywood. Hollywood, I don't know. Just don't. They're like, how do we Monster Hunter? What if we take it to the real world and then bring them to the monster world?
What if we do an adaptation, but not?
It's like if they said, what if we take this guy named Chad Stagler and brought him into Middle Earth, and then Tom Bombadil explained how Frodo has to get the ring, and you're just like, or you could just start in the fucking world and just leave it alone.
Oh, too good.
How does everyone feel about the live action One Piece on Netflix? 900% sold on Airbender. That was my question. Why are you calling me out? Wait, what? What was your question? What was your question? Oh, wait. Was that your question? How does everyone feel about the live action of One Piece? Oh, I didn't see your question. Did we see a question on the thing?
Did we?
No, I haven't seen a question from Mamba in like years.
Yeah.
Maybe in the chat sometimes, but not like in the Discord for like 12 years. 12 years. Oh, I asked a question a long time ago. Oh, for Monster Hunter. Oh, for sure. I still haven't watched it though, but I'm just like, when I heard that the Resident Evil director was like, we're gonna bring these guys to that, I was like, just start in the world. just start in the world. Just you could even have like the worst cast like at all ever. It's like, here's Chief Iroh, who's a man. Mila Jovovich plays that character. It's like, who gives a shit? Like, just who cares? just make it in the world. Interested, probably won't watch. I asked that question a long time ago. Gran Turismo. Oh yeah, the Gran Turismo. Do you see the commercial for that?
I did. I didn't. I
It's
mean,
interesting.
it's really interesting that it's a true story. And like, I saw an interview with like the person that's based off of, and it's like, damn, that's amazing. That's cool.
I think that's a very cool angle. If you're like, hey, if we're going to do a video game, we're going to do it this way, where it's kind of like, hey, this movie's like, did you know there's a documentary movie or show on Netflix about Final Fantasy? It's about like a son and his father who are connecting through the game. And it's called Final Fantasy like 14 or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, oh, that seems really sweet. I would want to spend time to watch that because it's like you're one obviously partnered with Square and Sony and all those people to make it. You're telling that story, but also you're, giving the context to it. Interesting. I know that look in Josh's eyes. Also, if Resident Evil director is attached, I don't know how it's not going to be a cinematic master. This is true. These are very true things. All right. Do we want? Have we dawdled and dirtled enough? Also, well, maybe. I mean, we chatted a little bit. You were in the green room a little bit. For all those who are in the chat right now who are not in the green room, you can get in there for as little as $1, and then be part of these little pre-streams chats.
$1.
$1. Support us, and then just hang out with us and talk.
$1 make you holler.
Yeah, and then it's like an extended stream.
Yeah.
But Josh, how you been? How's the home project been going?
It's been going well. It was I'll try to make this succinct. We were like we wanted a fence. You know my side yard, the driveway, like where the garden is. Like we've always thought that it would be really cool if we had privacy there. And because it's just like we don't even let the dogs out there because it's just street. And so we were like, what if we built a fence? Like from the house to the next door fence, and it just like opens up a world. Like our house feels bigger and we can let the dogs out there. And then like when I was done with the fence, like literally the last day, our neighbors next door who had Cujo, that dog that just would not stop barking, they passed away a couple of years ago. Anyway, just for context, they're moving to Portland and they were like, hey, do you want blueberry bushes? And we're like, yeah. Do you want some strawberries? Yeah. Nice. Do you want like hundreds of pounds of like already like soil that's been composted and it's healthy? And like, yeah. So I've been like wheelbarrow. Anybody that tells you that weightlifting is not important and form is not important, slap them, because I was like, oh, this is a deadlift. This is a farmer's carry. Okay. Like I was remembering my form, even though my back is kind of fucked up. I was like, oh, this is why okay. Roll my shoulders back.
Activate these.
Yeah, activate my core.
Save these guys so you can do this.
So, and they also gave us 2 trees. They're in like barrels, but that was a whole thing to get them over. But anyway, it's looking real nice. And I built another like garden patch that was locked in because we get mice, and we were like, we kind of want our strawberries. So anyway, nice. It's a lot of work, and I feel like I've been working out for days, but it looks real nice, and we're probably going to have a party soon for my birthday. So we'll see.
A little outside, a little barbecue.
Yeah, we once it was like kind of cleaned up, we were like, we should have a party out here.
And now you have a little walkway so people could be in the back and in the front and da-da-da-da. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. It's spacious.
Yeah, exactly. How you doing, Tom? You were filming this weekend and next, or just this weekend?
I filmed a weekend ago, and then this last weekend was all like, are you ready for yours? And it was like, okay, make decisions, make some calls, have some meetings, and lock these things down and just reconfirm, like, hey, no, everyone's cool, everyone's copacetic, like, don't want no bullshit happening,
bullshit happening.
A lot of planning has been going into this, a lot of fucking money's gone into this, and I'm just like, it's like I'm like got the green cap on, the cigarettes in the mouth, and I'm just like cranking the receipts and like dun, 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 like it's just like the receipts.
That's my secret cap. I am the line producer.
And I will say I understand why people are like, Tom's a really good producer, but I'm like, I fucking hate it. I hate it.
I understand that.
it's the worst. But it's a good skill to have. It's a good skill to have. And what else I do? I'm completely on a rice and noodle diet now because I'm just like having to save money left. I'm like,
Oh,
it's to the wire. It's to like the cool. You have now spent all the money that you have on all the things. Can you survive knowing that rent is coming up? And it's like, all right, back to the college meals where it's just like, here's 4 eggs, a lot of rice, and you're gonna cook them together. And it's like, that's it. That's all you got. And doing some laundry, trying to clean things up. Like, okay, cool. Life is gonna hit you like a fucking whirlwind. Are you ready for this shit? And it's like, well, I can't control the weather, but I can control how I feel. And let's see what happens.
I can control myself, but I can't
Yeah,
control
and
anything else.
also I went to go watch all the goddamn movies because they're just like, hey, what if fucking we just dropped
What
every
if
movie?
everything just came out within a couple of weeks?
Yeah, and they're like, hey, we're not at Universal, but doesn't mean like, but we're also gonna steer clear out of Oppenheimer's way. And it's like, what the fuck? It was just like Boogeyman, Spider-Verse, Transformers, Flash. Next week, Indiana Jones. I'm like, could you give me a break?
Yeah.
Could you give me a fucking break? And like, and then one ticket, it was just like, oh, actually, you got IMAX on Action. I was like, you son of a bitch. I wanted the regular one. I was like, I didn't want to spend $30. I was like, well, I guess I'm watching IMAX.
Yeah, I guess I'm watching IMAX.
So that was that. And then like, I didn't tell you this. I don't know if I told anyone in the stream, but I was like in a really dark, low place after the shoot, like because of my own problems of like, Josh, we've worked on a couple projects together, but you never see me work across multiple days. I don't eat, and I don't sleep, and I don't drink water.
Like you're just like purely focused on the project. Is that what you're saying?
Like it was a 7 to 7, and I ate the one lunch, the one meal.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And then I drank one bottle of water, and then when we were done, I still had to do work. And then by the time I was like done, it was like 8, 9. And I was like, I have to go to bed. And then I just went to bed. And I woke up, it was like 3 a.m. And then I stayed up for 4 hours to go do the next thing. So like it was like that for 3 days straight. And I'm just trying to get my life back to normal where it's like, okay, I think if I try to like jam like routine back in my life, then like my body will be like, you can't survive without coming back to like hydrating, eating right, sleeping well.
Yeah.
So, oh baby,
I get it. I realize that I've been a little bit depressed, and some people are like, if as an actor or a musician, it's like people are like, when I get sad, I turn to my art. I'm like, I'm not like that. I get into like video games, or like I've noticed I get a lot of satiation from working with my hands, like building, getting in the garden and stuff like that. So it like displaces me from, because the industry right now is just like
fucked.
It's fucked right now, and I'm
so
like,
fucked.
I haven't booked in a couple of months, and I'm like, and somebody asked on Twitter, like, okay, voice actors, how do you make yourself a better actor when you're not booking? I'm like, I just focus on my mental health because I don't want to go fucking insane. Because I can sit here and I can try. I've done over 2 decades of acting training. I'm not saying that I'm the best actor in the world, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to lose the ability. I need to just make sure that I'm not fetal in the corner. I'm that way I can give my A.
You don't come unhinged when the call comes.
Yeah, it's like I'm so happy to be here. It's just like I'm just, let me be me. Let me just like chill. Maybe we should do a show.
We'll talk about that soon. We were ready to get into the news?
Yeah.
You or me?
I'll start. I have some Nerd On news, and I have some theater news. So Nerd On news, I'll start with. We've hinted at a little bit that I'm developing a show. It finally has a title. It is the Nerd On Sessions. And what it's going to be is I'm going to sit down with people in the industry that I know, from directors, producers, writers, actors, whatever, and I want to talk about mental health in the industry, and everybody's going to bring something that they have struggled with and how they have worked through it. Tom is the first episode. I still need to edit it, but it's at least synced. So I'm going to do that this week. But really good conversations. I have filmed 3 episodes. Anything from like ADHD. One of my guests talks about having Tourette's as a voice actor. We talk about meditation, and man, James Tang brought money. He was like,
Nice.
the effects of money on mental health in the industry. That's just it's a minefield. Anyway, it was a really cool conversation. Real nice dude. But yeah, so that's going to be coming in the next couple of weeks. But my news, I'll be honest, this is when I say sometimes we talk about the news that makes us sad. I'm a theater
Yeah,
kid.
I'm very curious about this. I've never heard anything about this.
I'm a theater kid. That's how I started as an actor. Somebody talked me into being in a play, and it just didn't stop. I went to college for theater. Theater is like, if I were to say it, is my one true, like, not true, but it's just like, I love theater. I love doing theater as an actor. But over the past few days, the Center Theater Group, which is kind of it's a pretty major organization in LA for theater. And they run the Amundsen, the Mark Taper Forum, something else. I don't have all of the theaters that they are kind of involved with, but they're pretty massive. They're pretty big. And they reported some losses last year's, exactly. Their penis is huge. No, they reported some losses for last year, and they had to cancel the Mark Taper Forum Theater season for the 2023-2024 season, and also have it says about 10% of the staff will be laid off, with a projected $8 million operating gap this fiscal year. Yeah. So I mean, for me, of course, it's sad because it's theater, but it also, I feel like, I think we talked about this when like a major movie chain closed. It's kind of like one of those things where you're like, whoa.
ArcLight,
yeah. Yeah, it's like things are changing, and they're kind of like the pandemic. I mean, I don't mean to bring this into the conversation too much, but it changed the world in many ways.
We have yet to even scratch the surface of like the lasting effects that's gonna have on people and their relationships and their mind, and just complete careers blew up, ended. It's crazy.
Yeah, and how people enjoy entertainment, what they like to quote. We've used the term consume. Going to the theater, the theater experience. I think, not saying that it's not for good reason, but people don't want to go to the theater. Mm-hmm. And theater, unfortunately, I think is an art form that isn't always like people's go-to. It's like, yeah, I know several people that love going to musicals and whatnot, but that's not everybody. That's, to sustain a business of quality, like you need money. And if people don't go, where's the money come from? And like so
if I can chime in a little bit of like, as someone who, I wish I had gone to more theater. I wish I had seen more theater in my life. And the same thing with like live performances. Like, I just don't hear about it. They're just not in my sphere of like advertisement, right? Like the movie and TV industry and the music industry have completely eclipsed every
Facebook
other sort
Pixel. Listen out.
Completely eclipsed the concept of like, outside of live performance, all people want to do is just like put their money into like, come to this place to go watch this thing that everyone's watching for this weekend, right? I recently went to go see Ghost Story.
Mm-hmm.
when it came out last year.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a big deal, I think, because people were like, I think a lot of the actors were all like, TV actors and stuff like that, and they were bringing it in and had a lot of thing. But it's not the same as like, quote unquote, more of the pure sense of theater where it's like these people have been on stage for years and years of their lives, and you may never have even heard of them, or like the writers and stories are all like people who've been writing, plays for many years, and this is like one of those like, oh, this is like the hot new play that just has this cool setup and everyone loves to talk about and go. And I enjoyed that experience, but like I wouldn't have known about it unless my roommate told me about it and was like, hey, come to me to go watch this thing. I was like, I'll go watch, this is cool, like I'm here for this. And it is that kind of like, it is what I think I miss out of going to the movies, where it feels like people dress up a little bit, like they kind of really respect the space that they're
Yeah.
in.
You
Not
late, you
one,
late. It's
yeah,
like
and not one face is illuminated by a stupid LED,
mm-hmm.
while they're looking at their phone checking some bullshit.
Yeah.
But like, it hurts because I feel like it's one of like the longest traditions of human culture.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's completely changed due to the landscape of like things, that the way things are made and developed are very manipulative of like how humans subconsciously thrive to interact with media.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's I don't know. And Brad brings up a good point. He said, I love theater, but can't afford it. I mean, I don't know if you've looked at concert tickets recently. I mean, I would consider music sometimes even being live theater, but it's comparable where it's like, okay, a ticket to see any play or musical, a good seat is like $300. And like, if you look at concert tickets, it's like, oh, I want to sit here and it's in the nosebleeds. 300 fucking what? And just plays are kind of on the same vein. And it's like, if you want to get seats that you can see the stage, and you're like, anyway, yeah, it's I don't know. It makes me sad. What about you, Tom? What's your news?
well,
We
what's funny, when we found out that as Steves and Corey couldn't join us tonight, you did the Reagan.
Yeah.
Well, and then when you're talking about like this unfortunate news with the theater group, there's something that I keep in the back of my head nowadays, because when I started playing Magic, there was like a really fickle line, very thin line of like, you're having fun to becoming very salty. And one thing I've really picked up from other people who play was, if something really fucked up happens, you just say, that happens. And then it lets you kind of like process that a little bit,
Yeah.
like more amicably.
I think of Super Troopers when they go, that'll happen.
That happens.
happen.
So my news today is a certain DC film premiered this week around the world. I mean, technically premiered at the Chinese theater, the Grauman, over at on Tuesday, but on Thursday night, as projected, lower than any projected. The Flash, starring Ezra Miller, directed by Andy Muschietti, performed lower than all projections.
Oh shit!
Initially was projected at, like, in the beginning of the year, it was probably like $110 million opening weekend. And then later on, like March came around after like James Gunn was already announced as the guy, but like I think he released a slate of like, hey, like this is all what's going to happen. This is like the new creative direction, and the Flash is going to reset all of it. Then it plummeted to being like, now it's at like a $70 million projection for opening weekend. It opened to a $60 million opening weekend. The movie cost about $220 million just production alone. I think it's somewhere around the ballpark of $400 million with marketing. Um, it is so not good because it was a Warner Brothers specific production, whereas Black Adam, which is a New Line Cinema production, and the Rock had a lower budget of I think 135 or 150 million, which the New Line Cinema is supposed to have a lower budget than Warner Brothers typically, and the Flash still earned less than. I think it's still number one, but this will be the lowest opening weekends for both Elemental from Pixar and then for DC film that released worldwide on a theater immediately. The low projections else you could think about is like Wonder Woman 1984 and The Suicide Squad because they were HBO Max same day. But that being said, um, you know, if people said that Black Adam was a flop, then I don't know what you call this.
What do you call this?
A so
steaming pile of dookie.
That happens, and I think Monday before the premiere, it was just like reporting left and right the red carpet event, and like how many influencers just got free passes to go watch. And I'm like, if you keep like, there was like free early screenings everywhere, and everyone spoiled everything. I saw damn near like 40% of that movie before I even like stepped into a theater. And it's like, again, I don't give a shit about the spoilers, but I'm just like, all right, let's see how it all plays together. But I'm just like, I know some people who do give a shit, but also some people watch that and be like, cool, I don't need it. It's like, so these influencers that you're bringing in to like promote your movie are just ruining that experience for you. Right? It's like there is no hype and anticipation when you try to bring in these hype anticipation, hype training influencers in there, because they just ruin it for everybody. And a lot of them are obnoxious assholes. So it's like, at least the ones that get all the fucking, spotlight. That being said, a lot of backlash comes from a lot of people not wanting to support Ezra Miller and their actions. Yeah. A lot of people don't have any faith in James Gunn. A lot of people felt it was very stupid to say like, hey, there's an entire new creative direction, to announce that before this movie. So it's kind of like you kind of nailed its own, you killed it before it even had a chance to like grow. A lot of people were, have a bad taste in the mouth that Henry Cavill, who I think for sure shot sequences for this film, like completely got erased.
Yeah, I if I'm honest with you, I did see it because Bonnie was like, "We're gonna go see it," and it's like it's because it's
without spoilers, you and me.
Yeah. There were some. I have my own stuff that I bring to the table because in my mind, my Superman is Henry Cavill. I know that there have been some amazing that have come before, but I'm like, the DCEU for me has been spoiled by so many things that have happened over the past few years, and the Henry Cavill stuff is just like, wow, you had something good going. In my opinion, that's my own opinion, and I know nothing. But as a viewer, I was like, I really like where this is going. This could be really cool. No. The movie itself, I was like, okay. I mean, there's some cool things.
I would say this. I was surprised at how well certain things worked. Like, there's some things I was like, that works, that plays. I was really surprised about certain things, like how I was pretty surprised at how well the actual storytelling of like, this character arc is this, and that emotional, arc is that, and the bond between these two characters is this. I was like, I'm surprised how well those things worked out. There are some things I'm just like, it's very questionable why we decided to do this. It's like, but why, when you knew it wasn't going to turn out well? And it's like, but they just continue doing that, and you're just like, okay.
It's like watching a train wreck. Every time something happened, you're like, I'm almost, the only reason why I'm interested now is the drama that is unfolding, the journey of that drama. And I'm like, man. The DCEU, I'm just like, how can we not make money? What do you think, guys?
It is interesting how well they've threaded the needle on like every bad decision they could have made.
Nailed it.
It's just like, and that's the thing where it's like, I want to say, like, no DC boy, but it's like I'm going to talk about it mainly because it leads into the next bit of news, which is that also it wasn't really smart to say that before the movie premiered that the director Andy Muschietti is going to be doing Batman Brave and the Bold. They are like lined up. They are set to do Batman Brave and the Bold. And like it's not like it's like, oh, that's a terrible move to make. And maybe you're trying to do it to like, oh, maybe we should watch it because this is the director that's going to do the Batman movie for the new universe that James Gunn's going to do because everyone just believes James Gunn for some reason. But like it's the same thing that happened with Patty Jenkins, where like before Wonder Woman 1984, she was on top of the world. Like she was like, I'm the female superhero director. She never said that shit, but like that was where the hierarchy was. And then Disney was like, I want that shit. Not Disney. Kathleen Kennedy was like, I want that shit for Star Wars. You breathe in my direction, you get a Star Wars movie. You did something, you get a Star Wars movie. Game of Thrones, you get a Star Wars. Rian Johnson, you get a trilogy. Taika, you get a Star Wars movie. James, you want one? Come, just fuck off from DC for a second. You get a Star Wars movie. Like it's just wild. And so that being said, I was just like, don't like. How are you gonna backtrack now? Now that it's technically flopped? It's a technical big ass flop.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have that director who like I like Andy Muschietti a lot. He came from he did It, he did Mama, and I don't remember if we did Mama on the show, but okay, we watched it for one of my things with my friends.
You have other friends?
Some of them are not even in the city. They're from Canada. You never knew.
My friends in
we watched
Canada.
Mama, and I really wanted to watch Mama, and Andy Muschietti directed. And I was like, I like Andy Muschietti, but it's like I don't know how well you're gonna do under this tutelage of like someone above you just wants to have a joke everywhere we go, because there were apparently 3 different endings for the Flash that were shot, and the one they landed on was because someone up top started giving up notes. So it's and again, I'm not gonna try to disparage anything. I want people to fucking go watch whatever the fuck they want to watch if they have interest in it, and if you loved it, then you loved it. But like, I'll tell you one thing right now. I think me and Josh can both agree. The critics that say like this is the absolute atrocity, the worst thing ever, I don't think that's true. It's like pretty far from the worst thing ever. It's actually like without drama and all that stuff. You're like, this is
it's not terrible. There were a few sequences that I was like, that was a choice. That'll happen.
I mean, there is some cool action spots, and you're like, oh, that's kind of badass. This is kind of fun and cool.
And I love Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton.
And then there's some parts where you're just like, well, why? But I think I don't know. But that being said, it's still number 1 in the box office. So like the funny thing is like Spider-Verse came out, then Transformers came out. Every movie has like dethroned the last week, so it's like none of these movies have a real good chance of having like good box office projections. I feel because I feel like, so I went to go watch Across the Spider-Verse and Transformers the same week, and both times they were packed.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, it's probably because no one watched it the first weekend, and people are still trying to catch up to it. It's like, yeah, you're just releasing like fucking crazy, and it's just kind of funny.
Remember when we used to do March Movie Madness?
Yeah,
or like May Movie Madness or whatever we used to do. Like movies are starting to come out.
and apparently Warner Brothers has reached out to Nolan to try to get him back, and they gave him like a $7 million bonus, or a 7-figure bonus. So it's like, okay, so $9 million max. And I'm just like, yo, Universal gave him full creative control. Also, they did a blackout. So July 21st, 3 weeks before, 3 weeks after, no movies from Universal will be in theaters. I was like, yo, it's like, I don't know what studio. Like, I don't know what studio's gonna allow you to do that, but I'm like, I don't know how I don't know how a studio could be like, oh, are we in a financial place where we can do that? But like, yeah, it's crazy to see what's gonna happen. But that being said, moving on, Craven the Hunter trailer came out today. Internet is as internet does. People like it, people hate it. I don't know. And they say if it's Sony, then it's
Aaron
trash,
Taylor
even though they
Johnson.
watch Across the Spider-Verse every day of the week.
Yeah, I will pretty much watch anything Aaron Taylor Johnson is in. I for some reason I'm really drawn to him because his wife is older than him as well, and like, I don't know, but I just think he's fun. I like him, and it's interesting to see. It's interesting to think back to Kick-Ass, and then to see the fucking poster. I haven't watched the trailer yet, but just like, damn. One of my friends made this joke where it was like he put text on. It said Craven Ab Hunter. They're just abs for days. It's like there are abs in his neck. Like, just like, my God.
What was I gonna say about that? Must have been a lie. Must have been a lie. Must have been a fucking lie. No, Craven. Oh no, I'm excited to see the.
Can you tell me about Craven? Because I'm not really familiar with who Craven is.
He's just a big game hunter that comes after Spider-Man, and like he's just like Spider-Man's the most dangerous motherfucker out there, and if I kill him, then I win.
So no powers or anything?
Not really. I mean, like it's just like it's supposed to be like he's just like the greatest hunter. Like Batman Beyond tried to do the same thing too, and there's always a cool thing about that. And in the trailer, he might have powers. So I'm just like, I don't know. But like, this Avi Arad is like, I will get a Sinister Six movie, I swear to God. And you're like, okay. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm always down for more of the weirdo wacko. Like, I don't think this is gonna be successful to go watch it because I know for a fact they're gonna be swinging as hard as they can, and they might miss. Versus like people who just like, I've already made $43 million. I'm gonna bunt. It's like, fuck you. But what I was gonna say is like, I'm very interested in seeing the work that is Russell Crowe because he's in the movie with Eastern European accents, and I'm like, oh, Russell Crowe, this is very interesting for you. It's a very interesting.
Did you see the Pope's Exorcist?
I did not. Did he have an Eastern European accent?
Yeah, it's like he has like he has an Italian accent, and it's just like, okay,
that's funny. Okay, because like his portrayal of Zeus in Thor: Love and Thunder, I'm like, but why? Why? Like, you have a really good accent. Why? Like, why did we have to, like?
I like when he talks in his regular voice. I'm like, why?
Yeah, he is great as Jor-El. The opening sequence is like, he will give them, you know, something to strive towards. It's like, oh yeah, like he sounds like, you know, epic, and I'm like, so. That being said, now we can move on to questions.
Yeah, the questions. Everybody at home, if this is your first time, welcome. Glad to have you. This is the part of the show in which we answer questions from you, the people. You can submit your questions in so many different ways that I made a website that T-Dog has done the duty, and you can see the website nerdon.tv/questions has all the ways, but my favorite way is if you join the Discord, nerdon.tv/Discord. But my absolute favorite way, like above my favorite, is if you join the Nerd On Nation, because not only do you help us create content and do this more, but you get perks and you get fun stuff. Like in that Discord I was talking about, there are private channels just for you, including question channels that you can submit your questions like directly to us. And you can ask questions like, let's see, where are the X's? Dusk Ninja Kenji asks, that's a long one. Do you guys have any games that were really underrated when they came out? No one knows about them today, but you still think are really good and try to get people to play even if they never do. That game for me is No Straight Roads. Really fun rhythm beat 'em up. I actually do. Final Fantasy. No, Plague Tale. Plague Tale. I think it was
Oh,
made by
yeah.
Focus Home Entertainment, and I've mentioned it, and people go, "What?" But it has won awards.
And it's the sequel's out, right?
Yeah, the sequel's out. It's a beautiful game. It's not like it's like one of the trophies to get all the collectibles. So I mean, it's a chapter game. Like it's kind of puzzle. It's kind of a puzzle game ish. There's story to it, but like you have to figure out how to get through an area. Using the tools that you have and using the environment a little bit. But anyway, it's a beautiful game, and I just think that it flew under the radar. I more and more get. I am thinking Focus Home Entertainment is one of my favorite game companies. I really like what they make.
I really wanted to play what's that one? Sunken City from them.
Oh yeah, that was good too.
Yeah, I really wanted to play that. And I really like their fucking controller that is not available in America.
I don't know what this is. What are you talking about?
Remember, we went to their booth when we went to E3 those years ago, and they were featuring Sunken City or Drowned City, wherever the Cthulhu detective one, and they had the controller that was like cross-platform.
Yeah,
and so you could use it everywhere. And I was like, it was very modeled off an Xbox One, and I was like, that's pretty baller. I like people in the chat mentioning their Final Fantasy VI from Gotti or Tale Symphonia. I got Jonathan 51, Amplitude from Mamba. For me, it's probably Mega Man Battle Network. Like, I think is a very overlooked game because it was a handheld game. It was a Game Boy Advance game. I think a lot of people who played it fucking love it, but so many people just missed it. So many people missed it because all the other Mega Man games were on SNES. And so like or
get out of here with that mobile that handheld shit.
So those games don't get kind of like the attention that they normally get other than Pokemon, right? Or for Legend Zelda games. But Mega Man Battle Network, I feel like really, really was like, hey, we're gonna try to be that, catch 'em all Pokemon shit. We're also gonna be playing that like Golden Sunny kind of like, hey, we're going around these places and doing all these things in this angle like, thing. And you're gonna have random encounters and do all these fights, and you're like, okay. It just combined so many different games in one that I was just like, this is so good. And I really wish people gave it a chance because like it really was like I always knew Mega Man was there, but they never really did much for me. Platformers never really did a lot for me because like I always found them a little bit more difficult than like a shooter or whatever. But that game really like it's not a platformer at all. It's like a action. I wouldn't say it's action RPG because you can kind of make custom loadouts and you play your characters on stuff. So yeah, they have the Legacy collections, and I have it on Switch, and no one fucking likes watching me play it on Twitch because I'm just like, why doesn't no one love this game? But yeah, I enjoy it so much. Next question.
Next question comes from Spencer. What up? Would you rather be a penguin or a duck?
Have you seen that one video? Have you seen that one video where the penguin finds another penguin in his hole, like with his like wife betrothed penguin, and so they fight, and like the other penguin practically like mutilates the other one like in the fight, where like now the dude who came home is like homeless now because the more alpha penguin took over. It's terrible.
Damn.
It's terrible. Ducks.
Damn.
Also, I feel like are very disgusting as animals because they eat really shitty things. But also, they're doing this 90% of their life. And so, like, for me, I'm like, do I really want to replicate my entire life? That being said, I
think a duck. I don't like being
I think
cold.
I'm gonna be a duck. You know why? Because I'm practically already a penguin where it's like, here's my fucking pebble, bitch. And then she's like, no. And I'm like, cool, fuck, whatever.
Nice.
I'll post the video on the Discord of like that evil, sad
wild.
penguin thing. It's sad as shit. It's sad as shit.
Next question comes from Jose Cipher. Off the top of my head, I can think of.
Oh, do the one on top of that one.
Oh, okay.
It's the same question.
Oh, okay. Got it. It went to 2 lines. Okay. Do you guys have a favorite piece of lost media? Oh, okay. Off the top of my head, I can think of is stuff like Batman Fights Dracula, Snuffy Parents Gets a Divorce, Sesame Street, A Day with SpongeBob, a Slamfest 99, a live stream event of people in mascot costumes of Smash Bros. 64 characters, like in that one Smash 64 commercial. I think I looked this up and then I had an answer when it came in and I don't remember. I think you didn't pick, this wasn't selected as a question
for a while.
For a while. And now I don't remember the answer and now I just got to refer to my... Do you have an answer?
Lost media. Favorite piece of lost media. I mean, I feel like there's just old anime that I watched as a kid that, like, so Batman Fights Dracula. I don't know if they're talking about the Rino Romano Batman that we've had him on our show, and he had a movie called Batman vs. Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
That a lot of people don't talk about, which is a really good movie. But Sunny Parents Gets Over. I think it's just like one of those, like, these were like cultural events and moments, and then like they've completely been erased through time. I mean, yours, I know I don't know, that's a favorite one, but it's Two Girls, One Cup.
Oh my God.
Let me look
I
up,
asked Buzz if he still had it up on YouTube somewhere, and he was like, no, I took it down. Because he was trying to make his YouTube more professional.
Okay, let me look at the Beatles live at Stowe School. Let me look at lost media examples. Look up some lost media examples. Okay. The hell? Jesus. There's like one website, lostmediawiki.com.
Oh, yeah.
A motion picture trilogy of The Hobbit. Okay. I see that. Okay. Transformers IMAX cut was found June 9th. What the fuck? Learning Corporation, Spider-Man safety series, What to Do About Drugs. Gluco Boy, so you could check out your blood sugar on your Game Boy Advance. Whoa. R-rated screenplay for Gremlins. There's a lot of random shit, yeah. I would say my favorite lost media that, God bless. I don't know if it's lost, but it was hidden for a while.
The Snyder Cut.
It's probably Super Mario Bros. Z, because it was I posted on the Discord because it was like a Newgrounds show that some guy animated, and so they do the Cell arc, where there's a character from the future who comes in to stop these androids from the past, and in doing so actually leads this other threat from the future to like be the big threat. It's a catch-a-thon where they're trying to get these things before the main villain gets it. Instead, they use Mario characters and Sonic characters, and the animation is really baller. And they definitely have Smack My Bitch up in there, which is funny as shit because you're like, oh, it's so old. This is so fucking old. But yeah, CDR Zelda series, yeah, the Legend of Zelda TV show, IGN, the Inscription. Yeah,
I don't have any answers for this. I thought I did, but I guess I don't.
Maybe we follow it up in the Discord.
Yeah.
Once you have a question, we'll put it in there.
Yeah. Once I have an answer, I'll put it in there.
You're going Arnold for a second. I started watching Fubar, which is interesting.
I kind of want to watch it. I'm kind of interested.
It's kind of a shitty show, but you're just like, I gotta watch.
Kind of know. It feels like it knows that it's a shitty show.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Just like I'll tell you right now, 30-minute comedies don't do it for me that much unless it's like rom-com, multicam shows or something like that. But The Good Place really like, okay, you can do it. If you do it this way,
You can do it.
Um,
That is the like previously like
the binned questions.
the binned questions. Now they're the Tom list questions or chat questions.
Tom list questions. Okay, I see a new question from Mama that I'm going to copy down. Will I answer it? Will we answer today? I don't know. Let's do one question from. Ooh, Bad Reprint asks another kind of question. What's a forgotten snack that you think about often? I never had a chance to try a Snickers charged.
Oh damn.
A
forgotten snack?
I know one. Nerds Rope.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I always wanted it. I love like the moment I watched the Willy Wonka movie, the Gene Wilder one, I was like, I want to have all the Wonka shit. And Nerds was a Wonka product, and I was like, I fucking really want that shit. T-Dog says Dunkaroos. Crispy M&Ms were good. Crispy M&Ms were dope. I like those.
I always feel like Twizzlers pull and peel you never see. Like I have to like anytime I want some, I'm like, man, I really want Twizzlers pull and peel. Like that specifically. I don't know why. Because Twizzlers, regular Twizzlers just like taste like wax. But Twizzlers pull and peel. Oh, you know was that intended to be a snack? No, I think they were. Do you remember those like they were candies? Oh, candy cigarettes. Did you ever have those in the 90s?
Yeah.
Like candy cigarettes. Oh man, I remember you'd blow on them and this like sugar powder would come out.
I just saw them in the store. I never even seen anyone eat it.
Pixie sticks. Oh. Anybody ever sniff a pixie stick? Huh?
Yeah, of course. Did you never have pixie stick though?
No, I had pixie sticks. I was just thinking about old candy and I was like,
oh yeah.
I probably have brain damage from all the pixie sticks that I sniffed.
No. Your brain just glows in the dark. That's it.
Yeah. Did some weird shit when I was a kid. Anyway.
Everyone did. Everyone did weird shit. Like crushing up hot Cheetos. Warheads. Crybabies.
Candy cigarettes. Oh my god. The fact that was a thing. And then you just when you were done with it, you just like it was a piece of gum. Just like
why I know that.
Somebody was like, I got an idea, guys. I think Gotti and I were talking about it the other night when we were playing Diablo or Destiny or something like that. Just these things that like used to be something, and you're like, somebody at one point thought that was a good idea.
Well, it's because kids all wanted to grow up.
That's true.
And the cigarette companies were booming, and they're like, kids, wouldn't you want to smoke a cigarette you can smoke? Here you go. And you get them fast. That was the precursor to fucking flavored vapes.
You're right. And now we don't have them in California.
Now we can't have them because some fucking Tide Pod bastard fucking was like, oh, I'm a TikTok. And then California's like, oh, shit. And then like.
I do miss, I'll be perfectly honest. Like I use Juul pods, whatever. But I'm like, sometimes I wish I miss going to my vape shop. They were really cool. And
no, I sometimes I'm like, oh fuck, I could go for a fucking drag right now. It's like on this last shoot I was on, fucking everyone smoked cigarettes. And I was like, Jesus Christ, guys, like your teeth, think about them. Just think about it for 2 seconds. You want to do one last quick question?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, one last quick question. We'll take it from we'll do one from Zelda Moore. If you could do something that wasn't anywhere near close to your field of work, what would you do?
I was literally thinking about that today.
Carpentry.
Yeah. I'd learn maybe like I've been considering the idea of like actually pushing the idea of being a handyman. Like telling my friends, like Corey hired me to be basically a handyman recently, and I was like, I can get paid to do this? All right. And I'm like, I'm kind of, I can't do everything, but I would probably do like carpentry or something. Learn how to do that a little bit more. What about you, Tom?
Fucking someone who reads goddamn telegrams because fucking Bad Reprint sent one. I'm like, how do you fucking translate it? That being said, anywhere near close.
Fucking prun.
I mean, I don't know. Is culinary arts close?
I don't think so. I could see
If I
you
could
being
choose,
a cook. Oh man.
if I could choose, I would love to be like a
I'd
chef.
go to your restaurant.
I don't. But that damn. That's like if I have a hard time now, it's like, dude, you're on your feet all fucking day.
But
You're-
would you have like a restaurant, or would you be one of those places like you just do it from your home and some people just start telling people? It's like one of those restaurants.
I don't know about that. Like I feel like I would like to. I don't know. Like I like the idea of hospitality, and I like the idea of like making stuff, and I like the idea of like continuing a culture. But like it's a lot in that business. Maybe that's not. Maybe I should have just fucking stayed in tech, huh? But that's kind
Sometimes
of.
I'm like, maybe I should have just stayed in retail. I had benefits.
Yeah.
I had medical benefits that were. Oh, I'm having a cramp. I'm sorry. Ow.
It's okay.
Oh,
It's
my
okay.
leg froze.
It's okay.
We're good.
Oh, do you not know Morse code? How are you gonna realize your father's still living in your house after the murder? I don't know, man. Fucking, I won't. I'll hire a professional.
Yeah. That's what podcasts are for.
I'll hire a professional to like, hey man, get this code out here, or hey man, ghost hunters with your tight ass V-neck, do the thing, man.
Yeah, so Gotti, my TikTok feed is voice actors, musicians, DIY mainly, dogs, cats, like, but a lot of DIY. I just sometimes when I want to, it used to be YouTube that I'd be like, how do I do this? Now I go to TikTok. How do I do this? And yeah. Anyway,
Some Vati
and
Vidya.
Elden Ring and Destiny lore videos, because Gotti sends me one, and then TikTok's like, you want to see TikTok? You want to see Elden Ring lore? And then it's just everything. I'm here for it because some TikTok creators are really good. Anyway, I'm rambling.
Tom's canon ending to Parasite is that the son never knows what happens to his father. Way worse ending. Hey, it's the real ending. It's the real fucking ending, because you know what?
So good.
That always happens. You never know what happens to other people, and nothing's ever personal, and the world doesn't care about you apparently. I had a friend telling me that. I was just, because I was having like a bad week, and I was just like, what I say sometimes when I have a bad week, I'm just like, they don't want me to win. They don't fucking want me to win. And I was like, I'm trying to win, and they don't want me to win. And then he was like, that's a terrible way to think about things. Like, I know. He's like, the world doesn't give a shit about you. I was like, oh, that's a better way. I was like, I guess that's the realistic way, but it's like, shit, man.
Shit,
like,
man.
So
it's much worse than you think it is, bro.
Yeah. It's like, no, the success rate is even lower. It's like, okay, well, fuck me.
Yeah.
Do you realize more people in the world means higher divorce rate? It's like, okay. Like, oh, great.
That's it. That's the episode. Everybody at home,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us. If you're on the VOD, on the YouTubes, thanks for watching.
Who are we rating now?
Wow.
Chat, who do you want us to raid?
Who are we rating?
That means your friend is now your foe.
I'm going
You
to do
must
the
beat them?
business.
Do
Check out our website, nerdon.tv. It has all the episodes. We just posted a new episode on Friday. Check that out. It's on all of your favorite podcast feeds. Check out our YouTube. All of our videos go there. All of our episodes, I mean. We're here a few days a week, always here on Mondays for the update at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Usually a little bit before so people can,
Get into the room.
Get into the room. Do consider joining that Nerd On Nation powered by Patreon, because we want to do this more. If we're honest, we want to do this more, but it takes money. So having more members and growing the community and taking over the world, join the Nerd On Nation, nerdon.tv/Patreon. I think that's it. Thanks for hanging out. Enjoy you all. Who are we rating?
I think Shiki VT. because they're playing Liza P, and Brad said so.
Cool.
I was going to do another person, but then there was more suggestions. And so, yeah, we're going to start the raid now.
All right. Cool. We're going to start the raid. Everybody at home, take care of yourselves. Drink water. You know the drill. As always, nerd on.
Nerd on.